it appears that the Pentagon has a bit of a recruitment problem. And despite its best efforts, recruitment continues to be a problem, specifically with Gen Z. To remedy this problem, the Pentagon has often turned to media. The connection between the US military and Hollywood goes back decades, and it's not exactly a secret, though it may not be talked about very extensively, but even Hollywood seems to be a bit of a dry well these days. So, how can the Pentagon reach the youth of America in its attempts to make voluntary military service appealing to young adults? Well, if you said social media, the answer is just sort of. This is from Rolling Stone. According to a government accountability report last month, Generation Z, or Zoomers, have seen more than a 10% decline in military favorability, with only 35% holding favorable views in 2021, down from 46% in 2016. The military services recognize that young people communicate or receive information increasingly through digital media, the report says. According to the Army's advertising agency, younger generations view the real world through social media, discussions, videos, and memes, which influences their values and beliefs. Of course, there's plenty of military recruitment happening on various social media platforms through influencer marketing or ads. Just look at Reddit if you haven't been on there lately. But Rolling Stone has obtained documents showing that several television hosts and online creators have received funding from the Pentagon for showing the military in a positive light. Included amongst the recipients are Guy Fieri, not exactly who I would have pegged to reach the younger generation, but also Kelly Clarkson and Jennifer Hudson, and notable YouTuber and billionaire Jimmy Donaldson, better known as MrBeast. Shows like The Price is Right and America's Got Talent also receive Pentagon support. Again, apart from MrBeast, I'm not sure that is where the Zoomers are watching. I don't think that's where you're going to find them. But several recruitment type videos have been circulated on social media platforms in an attempt to drive engagement and interest in the US military. However, the best place to reach Gen Z is on TikTok, which is the one place that the Pentagon can't get to. So that's funny. So how does it work? Well, the payments are made through production assistance agreements, or PAAs. The 1986 movie Top Gun was produced with the help of the Department of Defense. The military gave filmmakers access to military equipment and bases, including fighter jets and aircraft carriers. And in exchange, military recruitment centers were set up at movie theaters during the film's premiere, and the military saw a 500% increase in pilot applications that year. But there are stipulations to the agreement, of course. The military wanted to be portrayed in a positive light. According to reporter David L. Robb, millions of dollars can be shaved off of a film's budget if the military agrees to lend its equipment and assistance. And all a producer has to do to get that assistance is submit 5 copies of the script to the Pentagon for approval, make whatever script changes the Pentagon suggests, film the script exactly as approved by the Pentagon, and pre-screen the finished product for Pentagon officials before it's shown to the public. For example, Independence Day, they were going to get a PAA, but then they didn't because the Pentagon wanted all mention of Area 51 scrubbed from the script, and the director decided, no, he's not going to comply with that. There's also the billionaire creator, MrBeast. He's made a name for himself on YouTube. If you're not familiar with him, he's also an investor and an entrepreneur, and he claims to be a philanthropist, depending on who you ask. But he also has a show on on Amazon Prime right now. But the Pentagon was attempting to grant him a PAA for a humanitarian trip to Puerto Rico, but ultimately the trip was canceled. So, why do you guys think that military recruitment could be down in the country right now? Is it a culture thing, or maybe just something with the younger generation overall? Mark, let's start with you.
Well, I mean, the reason that it's down for any number of reasons, the sexiness of the military is something that they've tried to establish through the years in the history of Hollywood and the military. There are all these different instances. In fact, David L. Robb, who you quote in the Rolling Stone piece, he's a good friend of mine. He wrote a whole book about the military and their relation to Hollywood. And this dance they do is all to make military service just seem a little sexier. That's what Top Gun's about, and that's what these glossy sort of senses that you get of the military are. why is military service down, or why is recruitment down? I think the reality of what military service is coming out, that it's not the answer to all of your problems in terms of getting into tuition, getting into school, providing tuition, this sort of thing. And I think there's a limited timeline on what people feel their future in the military actually could be to enhance their lives. That's a short answer because I know we're running short on time, but I think that's the key. I think that the curtain's been pulled back a bit on military service.
Yeah. How about you, Sharon?
Yeah, I don't think that people are going for the okie doke anymore. It used to be an escape. It used to be a way to build something when perhaps you didn't come from that much financial wealth or educationally even. But now people have woken up and they've said, no, we're not buying it. Some of what you related to me is actually scary and big brotherish and unnecessary. And I think people say, you know what, risk, reward, it's just not worth it. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
The last thing I would say, though, is that what they're doing is pretty typical for any company. I mean, doing business with influencers and trying to get the word out is pretty typical. So from that standpoint, I don't think it's particularly damnable.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks. We really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.